Okay, this is for Yongdae. These are the terms that came up today. We started, and I asked, do you have any scratch paper or a piece of scratch paper? Do you have a momomo on you? Do you have a piece of scratch paper or a piece of old paper? You, if you're listening to this, Yongdae, he talked about the American Airlines 965. He explained it 5 times, and the 5th time was much better. I'm pretty happy. Anyway, the crash was a case of pilot error. The crash occurred mostly because of pilot error. There was poor CRM, bad CRM. About 160 people died in the accident. 160 people perished in the accident, but perished is kind of a formal word. The aircraft, they flew off course, they got off course, and the first officer forgot to retract the speed brake. He failed to retract the speed brake. Anyway, there was a problem with the FMS, or they had an issue with the FMS. They didn't properly or correctly confirm the waypoint. They didn't properly check the waypoint. They didn't totally check the waypoint. They weren't paying attention to their course. He was too slow too. He took too much time. He was too slow to answer. He didn't answer in time. He didn't retract the speed brake in time. Anyway, they hit a mountain. They slammed into a mountain. They ended up crashing into a mountain. Or they crashed. Here's a photo. 목사님 is pastor, reverend, or minister. Sometimes a preacher. You can say that too. I asked Yongdae if he's a conservative, and on what types of things are you a conservative, and on what types of things are you a liberal? Maybe nobody's 100% conservative or 100% liberal, are they? To put together a jigsaw puzzle, assemble a jigsaw puzzle. I'm trying to get this together, but I'm having trouble. Sometimes when Koreans are speaking, they're trying to put sentences together in English. And for me, a native speaker of English, it's like trying to put a jigsaw puzzle together quite often. Right? I practice the Korean language, and the example sentences are complicated. It's like trying to put together a jigsaw puzzle. Anyway, I'm going to have a difficult time remembering that name. All right? Hyungsoon, for example. That name is not going to be easy to remember. I'm going to have a tough time remembering that name. I didn't know this, but unbeknownst, too formal. I didn't know this, but for the 3 of us, 3 of the guys were military guys, and I didn't know. But it's kind of difficult for us to speak English, especially in public. Anyway, I asked you if you watched the videos, and you said, yeah, I watched one of them one time, all right? I was hoping you were going to say, I watched all of them one time. But you, Yongdae, because you watched one video, I'm going to count that as a win, as a success. Relatively speaking, we can count that as a success. Oh, Adam, you look tired? Yeah, I've been putting in a lot of hours. Putting in is working. I've been working a lot recently. I've been putting in a lot of hours. Have you ever taken any English classes? No, I've never taken an English class. I've never taken a class. I've never signed up for a class. I've never enrolled in a class. I've never attended a class. Conversation class. We talked about Pohang, that, Pohang, there's good points, a few, pros and cons, and it's nearby the sea, it's next to the sea, it's next to the ocean. There's a beach close by, you can get to the beach. There is easy access to the beach. You have easy access to the beach. Here's a picture, and it's in the southeastern part. In the past, Pohang was very polluted, it was very dirty, it's kind of dirty. But they had a problem with air pollution, but now it's a lot better. And there are clean parks and very nice neighborhoods. Yongdae asked me who was the most popular kid, or I asked him who was the most popular kid in your high school. When you were in high school, who was the most popular student? And I showed him a picture and said that this person is now a Christian singer, a famous singer, right? Why? Because we talked about the difference between famous, well-known, and popular. Somebody please ask Yongdae. He will tell you famous is like Kim Hae-soo at the airport. People take pictures. Oh my gosh, Kim Hae-soo. Well-known is just something everybody knows. Here in Korea, we all know Jongno. In Spain, in Valladolid, Ishmael City, they know the Los Leones, the lion statues near the university. People meet there, right? Or El Antiguo, I think they know too. Good father, you'd make the best dad. Yongdae, remember this. What does that word mean? Well, what is the meaning of the word? Well, that's a new word for me. What's the meaning of that word? What is the definition of that word? What's my mean? No. Use this. This is the noun. Mean is the verb. What does that word mean? Mean is the verb and meaning is the noun. You don't have to like the people you work with. You're not required to like them. There's no law that says you have to like them. However, I think it's better. Yongdae asked me, Adam, what is your hobby? Do you have any hobbies? What do you do in your free time? What do you do to fill up your free time? This is a less common question. But we talked about astronomy, and then Yongdae asked me have you ever heard of Cheonbaekgoji? It's a place on Jeju Island, and you can he told me your homework is to go and see the Northern Lights there. Okay, for your homework you'll have to go see the Northern Lights. Now, he asked me, have you ever seen the Northern Lights? And I said, yeah, sometimes very, very rarely, the Northern Lights stretch all the way down to Illinois. You can see them from Illinois. Sometimes they stretch all the way down here, but I think as a kid I have a few memories of that. What is your hobby? Do you have any hobbies? Oh, that's it. Astronomy and cosmology. Cosmology, again, the study of the origin of the universe. And this is a picture on Jeju Island of Cheonbaekgoji. Oh, friggin' heck, this friggin' computer. Oh, fudge! Now, Koreans, when they're really angry, might say, "Shindogun," which is not a curse word. We might say, oh, fudge. Oh, friggin' heck. Also, I told Yongdae, if you see this fudge factory in America, maybe eat a little bit, but run away. Okay, Ishmael, are you listening to this? My friend, we talked about this maybe 10 years ago. No, 2000, probably 15 years ago. We were sitting in your car, and I explained this. I remember. Maybe you remember, maybe you don't. The tables have turned, haven't they? So actually, I'm hoping that Yongdae and Ishmael meet each other, because they know this phrase. But this is a situation, let's say I have a gun. I say, hey, give me your money. And then you quickly grab my gun. Now you have the gun, and you say, aha, I have the gun. Here's a few funny examples, because usually Darth Vader chokes people, but in this case, somebody's choking Darth Vader. Oh, the tables have turned. I got another funny one here. Okay. Usually the guy eats the cheeseburger, but oh, the cheeseburger's eating the guy. Again, these are just kind of funny, but some drastic turn. Okay, Adam, I gotcha. There's no need to explain anymore. Thank you. You can calm down. Just relax. No more explaining. I get it. I asked Yongdae the difference kind of between maybe someone from Kumyunggamdongwan going to Berkeley and studying and a guy from an APP program. Because usually the guy from the APP program speaks a lot better. I think sometimes in universities, people just sit in big group classes and they don't get the individual speaking time that they need. Right? And Yongdae said that, the APP guy, his job depends on it. It's very important for him to speak and interact. Kungmuan, civil servant. Lastly, we talked about having a high turnover means a job that a lot of people quit. McDonald's has a high turnover. It's like a revolving door, right? Your job, is it great? Many people quit. It's like a revolving door. Remember, Youngdae, die, the verb, one time. Park Chung-hee died in 1979. Current status, is he happy? No, he's dead. The noun, death, is a terrible thing. Don't be afraid of death. Another example, Park Chung-hee, he's dead. He's been dead for over 30 years. Jesus was dead, but now he's alive. Goof off, play around, horse around. Are you studying? No, goofing off, playing around.